Sunday night, we got a great QB matchup. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert taking center stage. AQ, the Bengals are in a must-win, right?
Yeah, I think they are. Absolutely. I think the Bengals, every time I turn them on, I'm like, how are they losing games? They do so many good things, and somehow they walk away and they lose by 1, they lose by 2, they lose by 3, whatever it is, every single week. But Joe Burrow has played fantastic football. He really has. Herbert on the other side is playing fantastic football. These are two young quarterbacks I think any one of us on this show right here would be very happy to start a franchise with. The one thing that I do love about what the Chargers are doing is the fact that they invest in their offensive line. That is a staple of a Jim Harbaugh group, right? They bring in Greg Roman. They're going to hammer the run game. They draft a tackle in the top 10. They bring guys in to fit what they do. And I do think the Chargers win this game.
The Bengals lost to the Eagles early in the season by 20 points. Their last 5 games, they've lost by a combined 16 points. So if you're Zach Taylor, what do you do? What do you say? You're in every game. Like, who's to blame?
I think it's a group of people that aren't getting the job done in critical times. You know, Burrow's playing his ass off. He really is. Chase had some good plays. They had a chance to go for 2 and win the game. They don't get it. They don't even throw the ball to Chase. They throw it to their backup tight end. So there's some decisions in critical times that they aren't doing very well. They're not making the plays when you have to make them. But they're in all the games. They're very competitive. They got to feel pretty good about their ability to get on a win streak, and it has to start against the Chargers. I don't know if it can happen or not because the Chargers are playing good football. That beat a lot of great teams. I get it. But they're the top 10 in every defensive category pretty much. Khalil Mack, obviously Derwin James, they're awesome. Bosa, they're great players. They have great leadership, strong leadership on defense with Perriman at linebacker, great communication. They're sound in what they do. They're third and third down, getting off the field. The Bengals are third and staying on the field on third down. So that's where I think the game's going to come down to. First, second, third down. Who's going to stay on the field? Who's going to get off the field? And obviously the ability for the Bengals to play some defense against Justin Herbert. I don't know if it can happen or not. Justin is playing great football. Obviously, they can run the football. They have 3 receivers that can hurt you pretty bad. They can protect Justin, and Justin can run with the ball. So I love the way the Chargers are playing. I think the Bengals are going to play like a wounded dog, man, because he's going to come out fighting. I think that's where the Bengals are. I think the Bengals will come in here and win this football game because of their desperation mode.
It seems like if there was any blame to pass around, it would kind of go towards the Cincinnati Bengals defense. They're giving up 26 points a game. And if you were to put yourself back in the locker room, has there ever been a time where it gets contentious, like offense not playing good, but the defense playing awesome, or vice versa? You know, and if you're in Cincinnati, like, do you think that's going on?
It 100% goes on. You know, like, it's a cover your ass business. There's always coaches and players saying, well, if the defense just held up their end of the bargain, like Joe Burrow is putting up 27 points a game, sitting there like, hey, if we can stop Lamar Jackson just one time in the second half, we can go out there and win that game. There is not a better illustration of this than the San Francisco 49ers are playing the Tampa Bay Bucks this last weekend. They missed 3 field goals that would have just had the game won. Tampa Bay would have been out of it. Deebo Samuel goes out and chokes out the long snapper, kind of smacks the kicker. And he's yelling at him like, hey, kicker, go out there and do your job. We're putting our bodies on the line. So I was on a team last year in New York where the offense couldn't score a point. We were trotting out there. I was playing left tackle, Tommy DeVito at quarterback, and the defense was getting 6 turnovers a game, and that's how we were winning games. So, yes, it does carry over. The teams do stay stuff to each other. When you go 3 and out every single possession or vice versa, a team just drives right down the field on you, you are going to chirp your teammates because you're like, hey, we're out here fighting for our lives, and you guys can't go out there and get a first down. It weighs on a team. It weighs on the coaches. That's where you need great leadership. That's where you need guys like Joe Burrow, or on the defensive side, Trey Hendrickson, to step up and make some of those statements. Because right now, if the Cincinnati Bengals had some semblance of a defense, they would be in the playoff hunt because they are a good team. And the AFC North is the best division in football.
They're still a good football team. Their defense just got to step up and make some plays. But I want to keep talking about this quarterback matchup. Like, 2 of my favorite guys in the league to watch, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I mean, outstanding. Justin Herbert's athletic ability is ridiculous. He can make plays with his feet. He's big. He's strong. He can throw it like 80 yards. And then Joe Burrow is just dialed. He's effective. He's accurate. He moves well in the pocket. He's always got an answer for everything you do for him. But, Jay, if you were to start a football team tomorrow, I know this is a tough question, but do you take Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert?
I'll tell you what, Jim Harbaugh's no idiot. You know, he leaves Michigan. Let's see, where am I going to go? Let's see, every NFL team wants me, supposedly. I'll take the team with Justin Herbert. Just a genius move by this guy. I mean, he's great. Justin Herbert's an awesome player. Joe Burrow's unbelievable. I'd probably err on the side of Joe Burrow right now just because they're both athletic and Joe Burrow's won a little bit more games consistently. But I would not be upset to have Justin Herbert on my team. I think he's an outstanding player, young, talented, strong, great leader, smart as hell. Love them both.
Before we get into any of these predictions, we'd be remiss to not talk about J.K. Dobbins and what the L.A. Chargers are doing with him and in the run game.
Listen, I love J.K. Dobbins. I love what he's been able to do, to be able to persevere. The injuries he's had ACL, he's had Achilles. I mean, a lot of people would have just written him off. And that's what you got to love about this business, right? Like the Ravens let him go. But hey, John Harbaugh calls his brother out there and says, hey, this guy, the character, everything about this guy is phenomenal. If you get even 80% of what he was, you're going to love everything about him. Well, you've gotten more than 80%. He worked his ass off, went to the Achilles factory with Aaron Rodgers, came back, went through knee injuries. What people don't realize, I had a torn ACL. You are forgotten, right? Like I get it in August, and I go into rehab, all the coaches who I felt like I was a pretty well-liked guy in the locker room. I felt like I was a pretty well-liked guy in the building. They're just walking by. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I felt like I was in a Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat for 9 months. I mean, so to have the mental fortitude to be able to push through all of that stuff and then come out the other side and, oh, by the way, be a damn good running back again, running for 100+ week to week. Pretty impressive stuff from J.K. Dobbins.
When you look at Joe Burrow and look at his receivers, we can name them all. You get T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Gesicki. They're running around everywhere. They're a passing football team. He's got weapons everywhere. Jay, when you watch Justin Herbert, it's like outside of Ladd McConkey, like it's hard for people to know who's he throwing the football to and how are they so effective and why. This is what makes him so good to me.
Well, first of all, Colt, T. Higgins has been out for a long time, and please don't say Mike Gesicki is. Okay.
Yoshavash.
Joshua Palmer's a pretty good player. Quentin Jeff Johnson's not doing too bad, and obviously McConkey's a good player.
But those aren't household names is my point.
Justin is doing more with less, that's for sure. However, Joe's playing a little bit better statistically, I guess, and overall the last couple of years, the Chargers right now, the difference is really the Chargers have the number 1 ranked scoring defense in football. The Bengals have like the 29th. So I think that's why the stats get Joe Burrow has to throw more. He has to keep the team alive. Justin can play a little closer to the vest and throw the flat route and punt and do whatever. He doesn't have to score every time. Joe has to feel like, God dang, I got to score again. So the stats are a little skewed, but they're both great players. No arguing. I'd love to have either one of them.
Before we continue with the video, I have to ask one favor. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. If you like this type of content, if you like hearing us talk football, hit that notification button. So every time we drop a video, it is coming straight to you.
All right, let's get into a couple of predictions here. Obviously, we talked about this must-win game for the Bengals, for Joe Burrow. Their playoff hopes are dwindling, but a win here could help them a ton. A big emotional loss last week against the Ravens. But AQ, going into this matchup, who you like?
I always lean on the side of the better offensive line, and I do think part of the reason that Burrow is so good and stats are amazing is because their O-line isn't very good. They can't run the ball. I think their guards are getting run over in critical times on that 2-point play. The guards are getting run over, and they've got people, and he's getting up, holding his ribs and his wrist. And I mean, he's getting beat up back there. He's been getting beat up for years. And when you go over to LA, they made an investment in their offensive line. They brought guys in, Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, bookends on the tackles. They are phenomenal. Rashawn Slater's doing awesome thing. Joe Alt's having a phenomenal rookie year. I just love the group. And I like the fact that they're going to be able to run the ball. And it's December football, close to it, boys. We're getting close to it. So here we go. I'm going with the Chargers.
So I think Jim Harbaugh, he's developed the culture there in LA. They're flipping tires. He probably does team sleepovers. They all wear khakis and cleats. Like they all have bought into this is how we're going to play football. J.K. Dobbins running hard. They got Gus Edwards back last week. He had 50 yards. They're throwing to these no-name receivers, but they got rid of some guys that clearly didn't fit the culture of what they were trying to build. You got Joey Bosa, you got Khalil Mack. The defense is playing lights out. I was not high on the Chargers, but after seeing that they're doing whatever it takes to win. Justin Herbert ran it 9 times last week, like tucking it and running, just not sitting back there in the pocket like he was before. Yes, the Bengals have to win this game. It's tough going to play a team that is back against the wall, but I think the Chargers are built for it. I really do, and I'm going to go with the LA Chargers, Justin Herbert. I'm going to wear khakis on Sunday, probably cleats while I'm doing all my ESPN work. Chargers win it.
How do you guys bet against the greatest division in football? I mean, how are the Bengals going to go lose to the Chargers. Joe Burrow is going to light it up. Jamar Chase. The Chargers haven't beat anybody. Look at their record. Tell me who they beat. They beat the Titans last week. It should have been 14 all at halftime. They had a bad fumble reversal of Justin Herbert. Should have been tied at halftime. They pulled away a little bit in the second half, like most people do against the Titans. But who have the Chargers really beat?
Broncos.
The Bengals lost to the Patriots.
Patriots, they just beat the Bears. Hey, but anyway, it's that time of year for Joe Burrow to get hot. This is where he makes his move to try to get the Bengals back in a playoff spot. I think the Bengals get it done. Joe Burrow, who day?
Yeah, Joe Burrow is hot. Look at him last week. I mean, Jamar Chase is on fire. I'm with you. I think the Bengals go down there. I think they get a win. I think they're just too good on offense. And I honestly think we talked a little bit about this, Justin, like the contention, like the stuff that goes on in the locker room. Come on, defense, you're giving up 26 a game. Can you just let them score 20 so we can win? I think they have a heart-to-heart. I think they got good players on both sides of the ball. And I think it's just nut-cutting time for the Bengals. And I think they go down there and find a way to win. All right, moving into Bengals Chargers. AQ, what are you going with here in this game?
I'm going to go Jamar Chase, higher receiving yard, just because he's been on fire. He's been on an absolute tear, and he is probably the second best receiver in football. So I'm going to go higher Jamar Chase receiving yards.
I think the Chargers are going to run the ball effectively against this defense we talked about is pretty weak. I'll play J.K. Dobbins higher rushing yards and J.K. Dobbins to cross that goal line.
Whew, this is a tough one. I'm going to go Joe Burrow, higher passing yards in this game. I know the Chargers have a good defense, but what do the Bengals do best? They pass the football. Jamar Chase had a huge game last week. They got to lean on that this week. Going against the Chargers, good pass rush, good defense. Derwin James, they stopped the run well. And the only way the Bengals win this game is if Joe Burrow goes off, and I'm taking his higher pass yards on Sunday.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.